welcome back to the show. And, 2011 is shaping up to be a very busy year for my next guest. Her new television series, Love That Girl, is TV One Network's first original scripted program. It premiered on January the 10th to stellar ratings. She has been nominated for an impressive two 2011 NAACP Image Awards, one for Outstanding Actress in a Comedy Series for her lead role of Tiana Jones in Love That Girl, and another for Outstanding Actress in a Daytime Drama Series for her recurring role of Roxanne on The Young and the Restless. Additionally, her production company, Hazarat Entertainment, now has two successful projects under its belt. The BET web series, Buppies, has garnered over 5 million views to date. And we really love her as Ashley Banks. And even though we love her as Ashley Banks, you're going to love her more as Tiana Jones of Love That Girl. So help me welcome my guest today, Miss Tatyana Ali, to the show. How you doing, Miss Tatyana?
Oh, I'm doing great, Lady Charmaine. How are you?
Good, and welcome to the show. You have been a pretty busy woman. I mean, you've been on TV One Access, 2 NAACP Image Award nominations. You got a web series. What don't you do by now?
No, I've been very blessed. It's been an amazing last couple of years. I took a break from everything. I went to college, and coming back and really taking the reins of my career with my production company, it's been such a blessing. Like, I stepped out on faith, and it's been amazing. It really has been. I'm so happy about the new show.
And it's really funny, too. I love the character, so if anyone has not seen this show, you definitely got to watch the show. It is definitely great, and we're going to get more into the show. But I had a question. Many people know you as Ashley Banks of The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, where you were an actress. Now, were you an actress before then, or was The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air your first big break?
No, actually, it definitely was a huge break. But I started acting when I was 4 years old. I'm from New York. And I did a lot of commercials. I did a lot of theater in New York. I was on Broadway in a play called Fences, an August Wilson play, and did some film work. I, had a guest spot on The Cosby Show and Eddie Murphy Raw. So I did some work, but Fresh Prince was definitely the thing that changed my life and changed my family's life, too. I was 11 years old when I got the part.
I bet it did change your family's life. Now, how long were you on The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air? How many years?
I was there from the pilot to the last episode, so a whole 6 years.
Wow. It doesn't even seem like it was 6 years. It seemed like it was much longer than that, I guess, because now since it's in syndication, it doesn't seem like it was only 6 years. Now, your character on The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air earned you an NAACP Award for Outstanding Youth Actor in 1995, and in 1997, the Hollywood Reporter Young Star Award for Best Actress in a Comedy Series. Now, did you expect all these accolades and awards when you accepted the position?
Oh, my goodness, no. I mean, I think as a child, definitely not. But even now, when you're just happy to be working, and not even to be working, but to really be able to do what you love, to play, you're just happy about the experience. That came as oh my goodness, that came as a total surprise. Having to find a dress to wear to an award show.
I bet.
I think I was 16, I think. When I won the Image Award, and it was just extraordinary. And even now when I look back on it, at 16, sure, I understood the importance of the NAACP. I understood, I think in my mind, I thought I understood what it meant. But looking back on it now, it was really extraordinary.
And to be so young and to not only get nominated but then to win the award, I mean, that is really a blessing. Now, did you ever think that you would earn a place in pop culture history with this television show? That you would go down in history right on everybody else when you think of George Jefferson, when you think of all the TV shows, Good Times, and there you are, Tatyana Ali. So when we think of pop culture, The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air will always be on that list. Did you ever think that?
I mean, that's something you could never expect. I think I've talked to other cast members. We're still close, and we We loved each other very much, and I think it's a shock for all of us to be a part of television history. When you're a part of something that means so much to people, fans that I meet, people who are my age who grew up with me watching the show, and now who have kids who are watching the show for the first time, it's crazy, actually. I don't care if when people stop me, sometimes they'll say Ashley Banks, sometimes they'll say Tatyana, but it doesn't matter because the love that's there, I get hugs all the time. It's amazing. You can't really prepare for that. And even how it feels personally when I watch the shows now, it feels like kind of like you're kind of watching family videos, even though they're really funny.
I know there's a question from the chat room from young Frank. He wanted to know, how was it working with Will Smith?
Oh, it was amazing. Will's an incredible person. All of the energy that people see, the warmth that people see that I think is why they love him so much, that's all true. He is hilarious. He plays pranks. He's brilliant. He's the hardest working person I know. And he's very, very giving. He is very giving. Like he's one of those people who, in the spiritual sense, he really understands it. Like he gets it. And he is, he's amazing. He's a mentor to me even now.
Now, is it true that he would learn not only his lines, but learn all the lines of the cast members also?
Oh, yeah. I mean, a lot of people do that, but when Will first started the show, it was his first acting experience. So if you look at some of the very, very, very early episodes, the pilot, the first couple episodes, there are times when you can actually see him mouthing the words of some of whoever he's talking to in the scene.
Really? Because he's saying their lines right along with them?
Yeah, because it was new to him. His learning curve is amazing, and he took it really seriously. So you can only see that if you really, really look in the first couple episodes.
Okay, now I got to go back and watch. Now, I got to ask you, Tatyana, what was that day like when you wrapped doing the last episode of The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, when you realized that this conglomerate that you all built, this show that was so massive, that it was coming to an end, and when they said wrap, what was that day like?
Oh, I remember the final, that last Friday night. And the episode, I think they had the Banks family moving out of the house. And so the set was literally empty. We cried. Oh, my gosh, we cried. It was a couple things. It was painful. I mean, you build this family. We saw each other every single day for we spent all day together for 6 years. And you feel like it's almost like a family breakup. So it was very sad. At the same time, there was a feeling of, I think for me, for a lot of people, there was also a feeling of kind of excitement. Like, I had been doing the show from 11 to 17. I was about to go to college. I had an album that was coming out. And I think there was also excitement as to, oh, my goodness, and a little bit of it's scary, too, what's going to happen after this? Because you really live, breathe, eat. I mean, that show was just the center of our lives for 6 years. We cried, man. Oof. I remember that. Everybody, not just the cast. I mean, the crew, the network, people were just, there was a lot of tissues.
When you finished filming the show, Tatyana, did you fall into a stereotype as the cute cousin of Will Smith? You know, sometimes people become stereotyped after a show. If so, was it kind of hard to break that stereotype?
I'm sure I was stereotyped because I think that happens anytime that you play a character that people respond to, especially in a series when you're doing it for that long. Sometimes it's difficult for people to see you as something else, and they really think that character is who you are. I mean, even to this day, even some people who were grown-ups even now, they think, I grew up in Long Island. My mother's a nurse. My father was a detective for the New York Police Department, but people think I really grew up in Bel Air. They kind of, the lines get blurred, so, or they think that I grew up rich. That happens, but for me, I really wanted to, I love acting, I love performing, and I thought it was really important to get rid of the character on my own. So, working on my music, putting my first album out, I was able to be myself for the first time in front of people. I think that helped. And also just in my choices, my career choices, I didn't want to have to, break out of the stereotype, because when you try to do that, I've seen other people try to do that, and sometimes it leads you to the wrong decisions.
Correct.
But it's happened over time. It happened gradually.
I like how you
nothing
did
like
it.
Ashley Banks.
Right, you didn't fight it. No, that's good though, because you didn't fight it. Because you do see young pop artists that try to do that, and it does lead them down the wrong direction, and you lose the fan base that helped create who you are today. And so I'm glad you didn't do that. And you also pursued, of course, we were just talking about that, your singing career. You are a Broadway-trained actress and singer. And in 1998, you debuted with a hit song called Daydreamin' that earned you a gold record. And then you followed that up with Boy, You Knocked Me Out that went silver in the UK. And then you were also the opening act for NSYNC and the Backstreet Boys. Do you plan on doing any more recording projects?
I'm actually just getting back into the studio now. I'm really excited about it. It's going to be very different. I was 17 years old when I recorded my last album, and I also, every song worked with a different producer. It was a completely different time in the music industry. This time around, my music is still going to be R&B because that's what I love. But I'd like to work with just one producer maybe, and really talk about just everything that I've been through and where I'm at now. It'll be really different. I'm excited. I'm very excited.
So when you write down about, when you talk about things you've been through, is it kind of that process that Janet Jackson went through with Terry Lewis and Jimmy Jam? She just sat and told her stories, and then they began to write songs about it. Are you going through that process now?
You know what? It's so cool that you bring her up, because when I was thinking about doing the next album, she's the person that I had in mind. In terms of that relationship, the music that they made, you could tell that the music was really reflective of who she was. And that's what I'd like this album to be. So it's really cool that you bring that up. But yes, the stories that I've been through, the things that people close to me are going through, things that are important to me that I want to talk about. The music that's always meant a lot to me, I'm a huge fan of music, obviously, has been, those albums and those artists who really expose themselves. And every song is a story. The whole album is a story. That's the kind of music that I like, and that's the kind of music I hope to make.
Now, who's your favorite artist? Who do you admire in singing?
Oh, I have a lot of favorites. Let me see. I love Jill Scott. She's a storyteller. I love Mary J. Blige, another storyteller. Ledisi. I also I've been listening to a lot of music from the early '80s. Denise Williams. I'm a huge fan of her songs. Who else? I also like some alternative music as well. So I kind of take influences from different places. Who else? Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of people. I could keep going.
No, that's good, though, because so your album might be a little eclectic because of all the things that you like. But I can't wait to hear it, to hear your stories, and to hear, your emotions and all the things that you've gone through. Now, you were also part of a song that won a Grammy, Sesame Street, The Adventures of Elmo in Grouchland, the soundtrack, and it won a Grammy. So tell me about that. What was that experience like to know that you were on a project that won a Grammy?
Oh, my gosh, it was amazing. It's surreal. Sesame Street's actually one of the very first shows that I worked on when I was a little girl, when I was very young. And so doing that soundtrack, it was kind of like paying homage to where I started out. And the fact that it won a Grammy, I mean, that's the people that were involved in that whole project were just extraordinary, and just being able to work with them was really amazing.
Now, everybody started out on Sesame Street but me. Hey, I'm in the wrong career. Hey, Mom, if you're listening, why was everybody on Sesame Street but me? They getting their big break on Sesame Street. I know she's listening, so I had to talk to her for a minute. Excuse me, Tatyana. Now, you're also an activist. You are the National Black Caucus of the State Legislature's Visionary Award recipient. And in 2007, you began canvassing the country as a surrogate for Barack Obama in 2007. And also, too, you went to colleges speaking to students and minority youth about the importance of voting. Why was this so important to you?
Education is very important to me, and political activity is really important to me. It's actually, okay, I studied political science in college. I've studied political science and Afro-American studies. And what I came across when Barack Obama was first campaigning were people my friends, even people my age, who thought, oh, that can never happen, that no one will ever let him be president. And if they did, something will happen, and I'm not even going to vote for him because I want to protect him. There was a lot of fear involved, and I felt like, when we come together, we move mountains. I mean, we had the civil rights movement. We've changed the fabric of this country. We've made it more of what it was truly meant to be, and to now. At that time, to be afraid, it just...
Tatyana? Oh, I believe her call dropped. I'm sure she's going to call right back in. She must have kind of got disconnected. So we're going to end up finishing up with that question regarding her and President Barack Obama, how she helped with his campaign. And we'll be back with more Tatyana Ali right after the break. You're listening to Lady Charmaine Live.
If you get the jitters after a caffeine drink, know that decaffeinated beverages still contain some caffeine. A recent survey of decaffeinated supermarket coffees and coffee drinks sold at places like Starbucks found that they pack a caffeine wallop that can leave you jumpy. 4 or more cups a day is equal to 2 cups of high-octane coffee or a can of Coke or Pepsi. This is important news for people who are sensitive to caffeine or those who have high blood pressure, heart disease, thyroid problems, or other health conditions that could be worsened by caffeine. Enjoy your beverages, but understand that there's a difference between beverages labeled caffeine-free and decaffeinated. Caffeine-free drinks have no caffeine, while decaffeinated drinks still contain caffeine. I'm Alexis Comer for Black Health Now.
Black Health Now. Now, back to Lady Charmaine Live.
And we are back with Ms. Tatyana Ali, where we're talking about her campaigning for President Barack Obama, encouraging students and minorities, talking about the importance of voting. So I wanted to know, why was this issue so important to her? Welcome back, Tatyana.
Oh, thank you. I heard then Senator Obama speak, and I felt moved, as did thousands and thousands of volunteers. And, we just started talking to students and letting them know that their vote did matter. And in the end, it absolutely did. And I'm so glad I did it. But I think for a lot of people, I never participated in a campaign before. I didn't really know what it entailed. And but I believed in him as a candidate, and I didn't want us to be afraid or to think it wasn't important, or to think that, the powers that be were somehow, we sometimes think that we don't have a voice. We think that we have a lot less power than we actually do.
And now, look, your efforts helped to put the first African-American president into office. So it's good to know that you had a little piece of that. So that's a blessing. Now, are you and will.i.am good friends? Because you have appeared in 2 of his videos. Are you kind of partners, buddies, homies?
Actually, he's a friend of mine. he was also a volunteer in the campaign, and he was so inspired by a speech that President Obama gave that he decided to make a song out of the speech. And so he just, they called up friends and people that they knew. I think I was in my sweatpants, like driving to my parents' house or something, like almost in pajamas, driving to my parents' house, and they called and they're like, look, we're doing this song. There's 2 days. We're going to just record stuff and we're going to record some people and film it. Just come down. And that's the Yes We Can song that I think had a huge impact on the movement of the campaign and getting the word out. Yeah, that was pretty crazy.
Okay. Yeah, it would have made a big impact because how many views did it have? Millions of views. And also, you are a spokesperson for Millennium Momentum Foundation. Can you tell us about that organization?
Yes, it's a scholarship foundation for kids who want to be in public service and who want to serve in public office. So we give scholarships. We give mentorship training. Giving back has been a really important part of my life. I have worked for education since I was a kid, and these are young people who actually, they want to make giving back their vocation, and I think they need our support. And especially from coming back from the campaign, a lot of what President Obama said was, it's really local offices. It's what happens in our neighborhoods. It's what happens in our personal communities, even in our homes and our streets that really impacts, that really can make the difference in, how our world ends up being. And so, yeah, these kids are like, what better way to change our country than by supporting these kids who come from the communities that need to be served.
That is, you are doing a great work, I think. Now, you seem to be the hostess with the mostest because you also hosted the United Negro College Fund Empower Me Tour and also your host on TV One Access. Tell me about the Empower Me Tour. Now, I attended a historically black college. I went to Grambling State University. So tell me about this Empower Me Tour.
Oh, it's so amazing. It is so amazing. We have an amazing, Lettucey is on the tour. Jeff Johnson is on the tour. Mo and Keita from the Terrell Owens show, they're on the tour. It's a great Warren Ballantyne, who's a radio host. It's a great group of people. We go to historically black colleges around the country, and we have an incredible program for the kids. Like, we talk about everything from image, how to dress for interviews and for work. I think one of the workshops is called Tims to Ties. We talk about internships. We talk about career goals, life management, everything, spirituality, just a whole range, how to manage your finances, how to use a credit card, open a bank account, anything. We're really, it's very holistic. I was really, really honored that they asked me to host it this year, and it's incredible the amount of things that kids share. People are crying, being healed. Like, there's so much going on this tour. It's really been a blessing, a tremendous blessing. And to see the United Negro College Fund doing this is really inspiring to me.
I like that, Tims to Ties. That's really good. Tims to Ties.
Right?
Now, if you're just tuning in, we are talking to Ms. Tatyana Ali. She's the star of the new TV show, Love That Girl. My next question for you is now, I know you are an educated sister. I'm so proud of you. Many people don't know you graduated from Harvard University.
Yes, I did.
And what year did you graduate from college?
I graduated in 2002.
So what made you want to go to Harvard?
Well, I got in.
Okay, that's a good one.
Yeah, so that was reason enough. But I wanted to go to college. I just simply I didn't feel like I was done after high school. I I always wanted to go to college. It was a great social time for me because growing up, I had a tutor, I was working, so even socially it was amazing. And I loved it. I don't think I was raised this way, and I really believe it's true, and I talk to kids about this all the time. I think that, if you take the time to develop your mind, no one can ever, ever take that away from you. When the economy's bad or you have bad luck or, even in relationships, friends, things go wrong in your life. If your mind is well developed and you have knowledge, you can make a way for yourself. And so I thought it was important for me to take that time. There were a lot of people who, thought I was making a mistake by leaving entertainment and taking that time to go to school. But I think it's the best thing I ever decided to do.
I'm glad you did do that because a lot of times people look back and regret because they were seeking their career, putting their acting first, or whatever career, and then they look back and now we're 40 and 50 years old and we look back and say we should have got that degree because that's the one thing that you're right, no one can ever take away from you. And even with that, you have appeared in numerous films, including Kiss the Girls, The Brothers with Morris Chestnut, Brothers, Nora's Hair Salon, Glory Road. What do you attribute to your success? Because although you went to college, you came back and you're still successful. What do you attribute to that?
Let me see. What do I really attribute that to? Just lots of prayers, really good people around me, perseverance. People who. Because I definitely did have a period after I got back from college where it was really difficult to find my way. I had to reintroduce myself, and I'm really blessed that I have a good family, a good relationship with my family, and people who really support me emotionally. And so, I had people telling me not to give up, not to stop, to keep going, to keep getting better. And I would attribute it to all those things. Perseverance, basically not taking no for an answer.
That is so true.
I feel like if, and I used to say this, I'm like, I'm going to keep knocking on these doors. I only need one to open. So I can walk through it.
That's funny. I think that has been, for 2011, that has been the ringing sentiment because I really admire Kathy Hughes. And I love her story because she got 32 no's from a bank and then finally got the 33rd yes. And that really takes some perseverance and some tenacity. And, of course, look where she is. You're on her network, TV One. Yes, but before there was a TV One or Radio One, she had 32 no's. Imagine.
Yes.
Some people stop after 5. Some people might stop after 10, maybe even 15. She had the tenacity to knock on 32 doors and to have 32 doors. Financial situations tell you no, and then go to the 33rd one, well, what the heck? And then for them to say yes, and, of course, the rest is history. That's where we're watching your TV show now on that network. But what if she would have stopped? And that's why her story is so compelling to me. She'll be on the show in March talking about that very story. Now, you and your sisters have a company together. Tell us about your company and the nature of your company. And how do you pronounce the name? I think I messed it up in the beginning. How do you pronounce it?
Oh, the company is pronounced Hazra, and that's actually our grandmother's name.
Wow.
She passed away right at, around the time that we were forming the company about 4 years ago, and her name means presence in Arabic. And, necessity is the mother of invention, as they say. And I had, looking for the type of roles that I wanted to play, having friends in the industry who were incredible directors, writers, producers, actors. We were all knocking, we're talking about knocking on doors. We were all knocking on the same doors. We're all standing in the hallways together, knocking on the same doors. And it sort of dawned on me, you know what? I went to school. Why are we doing this? Why are we all waiting in this hallway? Why don't we just get together and do it ourselves?
Yes.
We know how, right? We believe in ourselves, right? Let's do it. And so, my sisters, we're very close. Anastasia, was working at Carol's Daughter in New York, the beauty company for some time in marketing. And I just called her up and said, what do you think about this? Do you want to do this with me? Let's do it. And she said yes. And so I think 6 months later she flew to LA and we just started full steam ahead. And our very first project was BET's first web series at the time, and that was Buppies. But yeah, it was really, stepping out on faith and trying to. I'd like this production company to live beyond me as an actor. It's not really a vanity company in the sense that all the projects are going to be my projects. But it's knowing that I had a lack of opportunities or a lack of the kind of roles, the kind of stories that I really wanted to be a part of. I know that other people were feeling the same thing, and so I hope that the company is able to provide opportunities and open doors for people so that maybe it's a little bit easier than it was for us.
I like the fact, because I'm that type of person, instead of waiting for somebody to open up a door for you, you create your own door. Because that's the one thing I talk about. That's why when you said that, why am I standing in this line? Why don't I just go ahead and create this? I'm smart. Me and my sisters, we're intelligent. We're going to go and start our own company. I love that because then look what God is able to do. Sometimes people sit back waiting for somebody. Well, nobody opened the door for me, so I couldn't. Open the door for yourself. You go ahead and create exactly what you want to do. And I love your story. And, again, I'm glad you mentioned Buppies. How did you come up with this name, Buppies, child?
Well, Buppies is actually the writer. I went to school with the writer, and he actually wrote that as a television script. And he was having a hard time at different studios. They didn't really understand it. Buppies means black yuppies, and that was a term used in the 80s. It was a little bit demeaning. We wanted to sort of take it on and make fun of the story. So it's about this. Buppies was about 5 friends who are affluent, but it's about their life, their friendship, their love, everything people in their mid-20s go through. And we shot it independently. Very much like Love That Girl, but on a smaller scale. We shot it independently, did it ourselves, and then shopped it, and it went right along with what BET Interactive wanted to do at that time. And they took a risk with us. CoverGirl ended up sponsoring it, and people really liked it. It was amazing, an amazing experience, because as our first project as a production company, to get the kind of love that we got from people, because the humor was definitely out there. We were, it was definitely experimental in the sense of, it wasn't like anything else that had been out there before. But people really liked it. It was very nice. It was very nice, and it was great to work with BET.
Did you shop it originally as a web series, or did you want to make it a TV show? Because I thought that was so interesting for them to make it a web series to drive everybody to the website. And they advertised it like it was on the actual network, but of course it was on the website. Right. Was that your vision?
Yeah. We wanted to do a web series for 2 reasons. Number one, we're a young production company, and the web is a young place, so we could speak directly about our market. We are a part of the market that we're trying to tap into. And also because on the web, for African Americans, there are a lot of gossip blogs. That's what we do a lot of. But there wasn't really anything. There wasn't really any fiction. We thought that was a space that we could really use. Our characters are in their mid-20s, so it made perfect sense that people in their mid-20s who are online constantly, it seemed like the perfect place for the show. And you're able to be a little bit more. Yeah, you're able to have a little bit of freedom on the web. You can experiment a little bit, and it's okay.
Do you plan on doing any more web series?
Oh, definitely, yeah. We have 2 in development. It's just such a fun space. It's really freeing. It's a good place to test ideas. And what's also really fun about the web is that it's international. I had people from the UK, people from Europe, from all over the world who got a chance to see Buppies. And usually, when there are TV shows in America, they have to wait a couple of years before it comes to them. But with the web, they see it at the same time.
Now, Miss Tatyana, I have a question from a gentleman by the name of Frank. He's listening in from London, England. His question for you is, what is the difference between black Hollywood and white Hollywood, in your opinion? Is there a difference?
Let's see. Well, there definitely is a black Hollywood. And what's the difference? I guess it pretty much operates the same way. Hollywood tends to be hard to, it always tends to be kind of exclusive. It's really, it's hard to break into. It's hard to get into the cliques. It's just like high school, actually. It's like high school. But, do they operate differently? I don't know if they do. I think that there is a sense in black Hollywood that, when if you've been in the business for a while, if you go to certain events or you go to, let's say, the Image Awards, there are certain things that are very important in black Hollywood that maybe white Hollywood or everybody in white Hollywood doesn't necessarily know about. I've definitely had the feeling of like, oh my gosh, I'm at a family reunion.
When you go to the NAACP Awards, when you say that?
When you say, well, not necessarily the Image Awards, but certain events, certain ceremonies, where, you see people that you've known for years. It's a very tight group, but I think they work very similarly. People like to work with their friends. Mm-hmm. It's hard when you're an outsider trying to get in. It kind of operates the same, really. The good things and the bad things.
Well, if you're just tuning in, we're talking to Miss Tatyana Ali. She's the star of the new television show entitled Love That Girl. Now, on January the 10th, 2011, her new TV show just aired on TV One and is produced by Martin Lawrence, Bentley Evans, and Mr. Raphael Sadiq. I was really surprised to see that. Now, how did this show come about, and did you have to audition, or did they just see you and say, we just love that girl, and just gave you the role? How did this come about?
Well, Bentley, it's his brainchild. He created the Jamie Foxx show. He was executive producer of Martin, and he wanted to do a show that was female-driven. He had never done a show with a female lead character, and he wanted to do something that was in the vein of the Mary Tyler Moore Show or That Girl with Marlo Thomas, and he did it independently. We filmed 4 episodes and then shopped it to networks. So I think he and Martin were involved. Raphael Sadiq was involved early on as an executive producer. He's also our music supervisor. So all of the music in the show are original Raphael Sadiq songs. No music cue is different from the next. He's created a soundscape for the show that's really unlike anything else that's on TV. It's really brilliant. And they were looking for the girl. They knew what Anastasia and I had done with Buppies, which was very similar to what they did with Love That Girl, but on a smaller scale. And they knew that I would understand the business model, so we met about it. And then my sister and I came on as partners in the project also. So, and because I'd worked on TV One Access, I've been working with TV One for 2 years. I was able to help bring it to this network, and now we're at their very first series. It's really, really exciting. It's exciting to see, a couple years ago when I first became involved in Love That Girl, we were talking about the death of the black sitcom, how there are no black shows on the air, or not no black shows, of TBS and Tyler Perry's work. So there were shows on the air, but there wasn't really a diversity of voices anymore. And now to see what's happening, like, BT has The Game, and there's Are We There Yet? TV One has Love That Girl. It's this amazing resurgence and competition, like healthy competition, that it's so wonderful to be a part of. It's so nice, It's so nice to see people working, to see, even to see interns on set learning a craft that, they wouldn't have a place to learn otherwise.
Now, do you see yourself producing more television shows? I know you have a couple of web series in the works? What about more television shows? Because, also BET has that new one called Let's Stay Together. So that's good.
Right.
Yeah, Let's Stay Together, The Game, and Are We There Yet? And then you got the Family Cruise reality show. So there's a lot of shows that are coming back, which is great. I'm glad yours is also on the air, too. Do you see yourself producing more television shows right along with Bentley Evans and Martin Lawrence?
Oh, definitely. I mean, we're having such an amazing experience that, we're coming up with ideas all the time. And it's really, I haven't done a sitcom since Fresh Prince. This is my very first sitcom since. And it's because I was spoiled by the experience on Fresh Prince, not just by the success, but by the people. It felt like a family. It felt like we were doing something important and something meaningful. And Love That Girl feels like that. So it's excited me to the point where I am working on that, and I would like to see more shows out there.
Okay, well, Deborah in the chat room wants to know, are you thinking about getting married and having a family?
Oh, I think about it, and I would love to. Yeah, I'd like to. And I'd like to do it in that order, get married and then have a family. So that takes time. I have to find my husband.
Yeah, okay, amen.
Or no, my husband has to find me.
I'm about to say, man, he finds a wife, finds a good thing. And so we're going to position you where you can be found.
Right,
that's
right.
Good. So where do you see your career going from here? Girl, the sky is the limit for you, and you're still young and doing great things. Where else do you see your career going? Do you want to do beauty products too?
Oh, beauty products? I don't know. I'm so, I don't know. It's a really blessed time. It's really exciting. And so I love acting. I mean, I love performing. I want to be the 80-year-old lady when they're doing, a miniseries and they need the 80-year-old black woman to, come
like
down
Betty
and
White.
say something wise.
You want to be the black Betty White.
Oh, that would be, yeah, I want to, God willing, if I live that long like that, I want to do that. So I'm very excited about the show. We have another 13 episodes to shoot. So
wow.
My focus is really on that. I just want to give it 300%. And then we'll see what God has in store.
Now, how many days a week do you shoot this particular show?
We shoot 6 days a week, and we shoot 3 episodes a week. So it's a pretty tight schedule, and it's a really aggressive schedule. Bentley really took a page, which I think a lot of people have and a lot of productions have, of the brilliance, business planning, Tyler Perry's brilliance. We took a page from that, and we've modified it to suit our needs and suit the kind of product that we want to make. And it's working. It's really working. It's definitely, it's not the same. It's a different schedule. Fresh Prince we used to do, we did 1 episode a week. So it's very different, but it's exciting. It's exciting to be a part of something new.
Because, Tatyana, how do you remember? You do 3 shows a week. How do you memorize all those lines? And you're a lead. It's not like you're a walk-on. You are a lead.
Mm-hmm.
How do you memorize all those lines?
You know what helped me prepare for it? Young and the Restless. Actors who work on soap operas are amazing. They are amazing. The amount of they shoot an hour show a day.
Really?
So, yeah. I was really shocked when I started working on Young and the Restless, and I guess that was like 3 years ago. That was a shock and a surprise to me. So from doing that, I think that kind of prepared me to do this. Because sometimes you get the pages the night before. Sometimes they make changes that morning. You just have to learn it. And, when I started doing Young and the Restless, Vanessa Bell Calloway, because she had done soaps, she was like, girl, it's the best training you'll ever have. And she was right.
Wow, I'm okay. I don't know if my brain be able to do all that. I'd be stumbling and mumbling But like, excuse me, I'm sorry. Oh, that's the show for tomorrow. I apologize. Let me get my lines again.
Right. There's some stumbling and mumbling, but, our show is fun because we do a lot of ad-libbing. The writers are right there on set with us. We punch jokes. There's a lot of laughing on set. We're always playing. And so we're taking we take the words. The scripts are really well written. We'll take the words, but there's also a lot of freedom and a lot of room to just play and to make it as funny as we can possibly make it, as meaningful as we could possibly make it. So it's okay to make mistakes. That's what editing is for.
Oh, well, that's good to know. They're chatting it up in the chat room. Someone said that you are extremely humble. They said that's very good. And they also said that now you're being added to their genuine Hollywood list. So that's good.
Oh.
Also, someone wanted to know if you weren't an actress, what other kind of things would you be interested in doing?
Oh, wow. I would, I don't know. I think, I guess I would probably, the time I spend with kids and the time I spend talking about education and really, really means a lot to me and is a career to me, but in a different way, So I think I would probably do something along those lines, whether it was nonprofit work or community service. I think something like that, maybe. Yeah.
You sound more of a motivational speaker, like you would go around the country talking to youth and encouraging them, of course, in education, but it sounds like you're a motivational speaker because of the background that you have and just really seeing children live up to their potential. I could see you doing that.
Well, there's a bit, I get to be on stage.
That is so true. With a microphone, got everybody's attention, and of course, you're going to pack them in, sister, going to pack them in and talk to all the kids. No, that's good, though. I could see you doing that because I could tell you really have a heart for young people.
I do. Even when I was very young, there's just nothing like it. It doesn't matter how much time you spend with kids. It's never enough time. You always want to be there longer. And it's just, there's so many influences out there that are giving kids false information about who they are, what they're capable of, and what's expected of them. And when you talk to a child and tell them not only that they're capable of everything that they dream about, but that you expect them to succeed, a child only needs one person to tell them that. Just one person. And I think it's, for people out there, if you know that, if you know the truth of that, then you have to talk about it. That's almost a responsibility.
That is good. Now, if you want to talk to Ms. Tatyana Ali, all you got to do is give us a call at 347-426-3870 if you have a question for her. Now, I have another question for you. If someone wanted to break into this business, what advice would you give them? They've been trying, and they've been trying to do it for a couple of years now, but they haven't gotten any hope or anywhere, and they're kind of discouraged. What advice would you give them?
A couple things. Always, think outside of the box as much as possible. There's always a way, you find alternate routes. A lot of times people ask that question and they're stuck on, how do I get an agent? Or I need to get to LA, or a lot of times the answer is a lot closer to you than you think. It's, doing local work. It's putting something up on the web yourself. It's so really think outside of the box. And this other thing that I would say that I had to learn, and that this was a big learning process for me. Don't compromise yourself. There are a lot of people in entertainment specifically, who think that, this is what's selling right now. So you have to fit into this mold so you can be sold. But the truth is, by doing that, you take away the things that make you special, that make you unique, that make you stand out. it might take a little longer, but don't compromise yourself.
Right.
Because you can never go back. There's only one you.
So true. That is so true, and I'm so glad you said that. There's another question coming from Deborah out of Ohio. She wanted to know, do you have any spiritual practices that help you stay grounded or centered?
Yeah, I pray a lot. You know, my mother's Catholic and my father's Muslim, and they're still together, and people think that, you know, for some reason, that's not an issue for them. And we pray together as a family. Prayer is really important in my life. And so that's, whether it's, you know, meditation or meditative or whatever kind of prayer, that time to converse with the Creator is really important to me. You know, and I'm not perfect. You know, I mess up and I fail and I fall off track and all that stuff all the time.
Well, you've joined the clubs.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, yeah. But when things are, you know, it's a lot of times we pray when things are going badly and when we're in a jam. But sometimes the most powerful prayer that really moves in your life and will move you through situations is when things are going well.
Right.
To say thank you, because then it becomes a lot easier to say thank you even when things aren't going the way you want.
That is so nice. That was so wonderful. Well, I definitely appreciate you coming on this show and taking the time out, letting us know about your career. And if somebody wanted to find out more about you, what is the name of your website so they can go on if they want to connect with you? Are you on Facebook and Twitter and LinkedIn and all that good stuff?
Yeah. I'm on. My Twitter is official Tatyana. It's not verified yet. I'm working on that, but it's official Tatyana. And then my website, which if you just go to my website, it'll link you to my Twitter, my Facebook, everything. That is TatyanaAliOnline.com. And Tatyana is spelled with a Y. Sometimes people say it.
Because I know I had spelled it with an I by mistake. Let's say by mistake.
No, a lot of people do.
Yeah, because but we have so many people in the chat room. I want to thank everybody for sending over their questions today. And like I said, if anybody had a question for you, all you got to do is give me a call at 347-426-3870. If somebody wants me to ask you, what's the question? I'm trying to see what's the question. I can't get the question out. His name is Frank from London. I was trying to see what they wanted me to ask you. But I just appreciate everybody sending over all of their questions to the chat room. And again, Tatyana, thank you so much for being on the show. I greatly appreciate it. And we want to have you back. So when you do something else, please come on back on the show. When you're introducing your new web series or new television show, we want to have you back on the show to talk about it.
I would love that. Thank you. I really enjoyed this. Thank you so much.